Just imagine if one person in a family is liable to follow one set of rules, while the other person in the family is entitled to a rule which he has made herself or himself. Do you all think the family could function with such duality? Well, of course not. But the Congress MP Shashi Tharoor does not mind to work with such duality, as long as his party continues to appease the members of a particular community who are Muslims in this matter. Hello and welcome, I am Shreya and you're watching the Pamphlet. The stand of Congress party on Uniform Civil Code is very well visible from this recent statement of Shashi Tharoor, where he quoted the words of India's first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru.
Prime Minister Nehru was very clear. He said it's a desirable thing to have a uniform civil code, but you have to take everyone along.
So going a little back in the history, when in the Constituent Assembly, B.R. Ambedkar had asked to adopt a uniform code, the Muslim members staunchly opposed it. So all we got was the induction of this code in Article 44 of the Constitution as a directive principle, stating that the state shall endeavour to secure for the citizens a uniform civil code. A Hindu code bill was revived back in the 1950s and was split into many parts including marriage, divorce and inheritance by Prime Minister Nehru, while no such code was implemented for Muslims, clearly showing the dual policy of the Congress. In fact, one of the reasons for not giving weightage to UCC was a fear, which Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee had stated, that I know the weakness of the promoters of this bill. They dare not touch the Muslim majority. There will be so much opposition coming from throughout India that the government will not dare to proceed with it. There have also been reports that Nehru felt that since there has been pre- and post-partition violence, Muslims who stayed back in India would feel insecure if a UCC was introduced immediately. The mentality and words of the Congress party has not changed ever since then, even after so many decades. Only the spokesperson has changed. That time it was Jawaharlal Nehru and today it is Shashi Tharoor. Tharoor has mentioned where people have acquired and entrenched rights, you can't take away those rights. They will resist.
But to take away something which people have will generate resistance.
Question is, why was a community allowed to acquire such rights in the first place? Why was a directive in the Constitution not implemented for decades? Dr. Tharoor's statement clearly indicates that Congress was never interested in implementing a common civil code, as it feared losing Muslim votes and also because it never allowed the issue to be part of the mainstream public discourse. Just to highlight, Dr. Tharoor also made some baseless, illogical comparison on the Hindu and Muslim divorce laws.
When a Hindu husband deserts his wife without giving her support, that is not a criminal offense. But if a Muslim husband says, I divorce you 3 times and walks away, it now becomes a criminal offense under the law.
Well, actually, the question here is the appropriateness of the triple talaq followed by the Muslim community in India. Shashi Tharoor is trying to defend that by saying that why no such criminalizing policies are there when a Hindu man divorces his wife. So, Mr. Tharoor, it is not a matter of divorce. It is a matter of triple talaq, which is banned even in Islamic countries like Qatar, Jordan, Indonesia, Pakistan, and has been abolished in Egypt from past 80 to 90 years. Also, the courts have prescribed a procedure of divorce, which is applicable to Hindus under the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, but not on the Muslims, who follow a different set of rules under Muslim Personal Law Application Act of 1937. And where are the reports or cases of any Hindu getting away without giving any compensation after the divorce? As stated by Mr. Tharoor, we can't find any such reports as no such incident has happened till date. When talking about triple talaq, how can we forget about one of the most blunderfoot decisions which Rajiv Gandhi took in the Shah Bano case of 1986? He overturned Supreme Court's judgment that protected Muslim women's right to maintenance during talaq. If not scrapped by Rajiv Gandhi government, Shah Bano case was a step in the direction of implementation of the UCC. The Supreme Court has various times in the past emphasized on the need for a uniform civil code. In October 2015, Supreme Court asserted the need for a uniform civil code and said that this cannot be accepted. Otherwise, every religion will say it has a right to decide various issues as a matter of its personal law. In 2019 also, a division bench of the Supreme Court had exhorted the state to endeavour and bring the common code, It also criticized the government, which failed to secure the UCC for its citizens despite the codification of the Hindu law in 1956. Allahabad High Court in 2021 urged the centre to speed up its process for the implementation of a uniform civil code, as there has been a rise in inter-community, interfaith and intercaste marriages. The court observed that a common civil code will help the cause of national integration by removing disparate loyalties to laws which have conflicting ideologies. The Kerala High Court also last year called upon the central government to seriously consider framing uniform marriageable code in India to promote common welfare to spouses embroiled in matrimonial disputes. In fact, the Delhi High Court in the same year backed UCC and asked the centre to take necessary steps in order to bring in a common code. Justice Pratibha Singh had observed that the courts have been repeatedly confronted with the conflicts that arise in personal laws, and people belonging to various communities, castes and religions who forged marital bonds struggle with such conflicts. UCC is the need of the hour. Some BJP-governed states have demanded the implementation of UCC considering their importance, just like the Supreme Court and High Court has urged in the past. In May last year, Uttarakhand government announced to form a committee led by retired Supreme Court Judge Ranjana Desai to implement the Uniform Civil Code in the state. The decision was taken considering the increase of infiltrators in the state, which will ensure that the law is in the interest of the state and that no demographic change will take place. In the same year, in the month of October, Gujarat announced the formation of a committee to implement UCC in the state. Ahead of the assembly elections in Himachal Pradesh in November last year, Amit Shah retaliated to bring UCC if voted to power. Also, Assam Chief Minister Himant Biswa Sarma last month urged to implement UCC in order to curb polygamy in the greater interest of the Muslim woman. In order to implement a one nation, one law, one civil code formula, the nation should go ahead with the UCC on the lines to have uniformity across the nation. Political appeasement policies should not come in the way of the basic civil rights that are guaranteed to the citizens of India. Thank you for watching. If you like the content, do like, share and subscribe to our channel, The Pamphlet.